I'm Julia,
And I'm Michelle.
and we're just getting better. This is a podcast for women just like us who are navigating life and just getting better. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Julia. How are you today?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going fine. What's new in your life this week?
What's new in my life is, you're going to love this. You know how I'm a big Kindle fan?
Uh-huh.
I can always tell when my Kindle is on the last brink
Yeah.
of about to go to never never Kindle land, and I'm having to get a new one.
Yeah.
But I don't like any of the new ones. So I've just tried to restart and reboot and just redo it. But the thing of it is I'm in the midst of 11 different books. I know it sounds weird, but I'm kind of
yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I'm reading some books with my niece. I'm reading a book with my nephew. So I have all those books. And he's into Percy Jackson books. My niece is into a Court of Thorns and Roses series. So that's the book. And now I'm just okay, if I have to get a new Kindle, they don't automatically transfer. I have to resend all the things I'm reading back. It's just it's literally a problem that I don't want to do, but I just don't like the new Kindles. And that's the thing. I like mine. It's water resistant. It's water it. And so, but also too, I'm well, that means if I get a new Kindle, then do I need new books? Yes.
always more books. Always more books.
I'm just that's it. So that's just what's going on. What about you?
I feel your pain. It's like technology. It's constantly making us upgrade things, but yet the upgrade is never we get used to the thing and then it's always the new thing. So no, I'm good. I got a jury summons. I have to serve on a jury. I haven't done that in, I don't even know how long. It's been a lot of decades. So it's probably time for me to do it.
Okay.
Do my civic duty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I went to the hairdresser yesterday, got my hair done, got my gray roots dyed, so had to get all ready for our special guest today.
I know, well, this is a great episode.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know that word on the street is a lot of women don't take care of their hair, have a routine, like skincare routine. I am not one of those women because I do have a hair care routine, but I'm looking to up my game. So I'm going to learn some new tips and tricks
These
today.
are the products. It's really funny because I started basically going a fade probably in my mid 20s. So I am in my 50s now. So 30 years I've been going back and forth let me grow it out. Let me cut it. Oh, no, it's easy. I think I want a mohawk. No. Then I have to grow it out. And then I have to, but I love products. So
Me too.
I'm a beauty girl. So as this is right up my heart's alley, because I think people think oh, well, it doesn't matter because you have technically no hair. And I'm no, it all matters. All of it still matters in case the day I want to grow it back out and then cut it again. So I'm so excited about today.
Me too. We're going to learn about it from the scalp out. So
yes,
all things. Yes.
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm going to read the bio, but I want you guys to get so excited about this because this is I'm fangirling right here, now for this whole time.
Power duo.
Yeah, power duo. Yes. So here we go. So Shaz and Kiks is born out of our childhood summers in the lush green foothills of the Himalayas, where we learned how to holistically take care of our hair by harnessing the power of Ayurveda, the world's oldest healing system. As adults, we realized our healthiest hair was when we were using these high-performing, nutrient-rich Ayurvedic herbs, oils, and flowers. Kiku loved the power of these ancient formulas, and Shaz wanted to modernize them. With Kiku's passion for culture and Shaz's eye for innovation, we created Shaz and Kiks. Welcome, Shaz and Kiku. It's a pleasure having you today with us on Just Getting Better.
Woo-woo!
Hi. Woo-hoo, we're so excited. You guys are the best hype gals.
So, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a former beauty blogger. I was a beauty blogger and beauty writer for 10 years, and I'm one of those people, I live for a Sephora sale. And so for me, like interviewing you all, especially because I practice yoga, and so I learned about Ayurveda, but more like with diet on the yoga
Mhm.
side than about hair care. So
Mhm.
can you guys talk and like what made you decide to do this Ayurvedic principles and apply it to hair care when so many people apply it to food?
Yeah, I can start. So, that, and you kind of read our bio, obviously. Even though we're South Asians who were born in this country, we spent all of our summers back in India with our families in the lush green foothills of the Himalayas. And we really just learned the art of taking care of yourself inside out. And actually, that's like regardless of whether it's hair, nutrition. And the other thing in India, it is more of a way of life, and it's like woven through the culture, the traditions that are passed down. And our grandmother was never like, what I'm teaching you right now is Ayurveda. It's just like what we knew and what we did, right? So like something like hair oiling, that was 100% just almost like cultural, if you will. And getting sort of like massage, like oil massage when you were babies and when you're old. I mean, this again, like all these things are just like woven into the culture. So we never even realized that like all these things that we were doing was Ayurveda necessarily. We kind of like learned that later in life. And Ayurveda itself, I mean, it is more of a way of life. It's about balance. So it kind of applies to every part of you. Whereas, if you're healthy on the inside, you're going to be healthy on the outside. You're going to look good. Your hair is going to look good. You're going to feel good. So, like, in general, that's kind of the principle of like everything that you're doing is very, very balanced. So for us, we like kind of grew up with all those things. And then as we got older, we had just had less access to a lot of the ingredients that were used in these like DIY, like kind of like done in the kitchen by our grandmothers and our aunties. And we had less access, and we had just like less time, of course, like we're all busy with, we were busy with like our corporate lives, our families, like no one had time to do all that kind of stuff. But it was still like percolating in the back of our minds that it was our hair always felt the best when we were kind of like practicing the things that we grew up with. So the whole thing really was like, how can we take those concepts and bring them to the Western world, if you will, but also in a little bit more of an elevated way, and a little bit more of a kind of like a not so basic in its elements as it is when you do a DIY, but to bring some of that innovation also, so that the experience of doing it is amazing and very like sensorial. So that was kind of the impetus. And then all of that, under all of that, was also, I think you mentioned Kiku and I are sisters. And we just always wanted to do something together. So
Yeah.
after many years of being like working in different like corporations and different fields, like we came together like somewhat later in life to create Shaz and Kiks.
Yeah. And I was gonna add on that um, kind of, you mentioned how a lot of people here, perhaps in the U.S. and the Western world, have become more familiar with the world of Ayurveda, and it might be have introduced to you through nutrition or through yoga or meditation. And it's kind of come over, it's bled outside of the South Asian community in a little bit in piecemeals, right? I feel like some of the early on things was kind of like yoga that started becoming a little bit more popular outside of our community a few decades ago. Then came certain nutrition and breathing and meditation. But as Shaz mentioned, Ayurveda is just a way of life. And so for traditionally in South Asian communities, it's the way you just take care of your entire mind, body, and soul. So there are Ayurvedic practices that pertain to obviously your digestion and nutrition, the way you physically move, and how you take care of your body on the, kind of from more of like a fitness standpoint, the way you take care of your skin, your hair, and your mind through meditation. So it actually kind of is holistic and all encompassing, and it's kind of bled into the Western world in different little like pockets, and kind of brought over by individuals or set companies. And I think, especially in the past decade, we've really seen this these little pockets of Ayurveda really become gain traction and really interest people that are outside of the South Asian communities. And so one of the things that's like quintessential to especially South Asian women is hair care. I think it's like, Indian women are known for their healthy, strong, beautiful hair kind of globally. It's one of those things that we're known for. And it's not by mistake. It's something that for just very much inherent in our culture. Men and women having healthy, strong hair is a sign of wealth and health and beauty, and something that you are taught to take care of even before your skin or your face or your body. From the time you're little, your grandmother, your mom, your aunties, whoever is looking after you, the art of taking care of your hair is something that is one of the first things you learn as part of a beauty ritual of taking care of your body. And so we've grown up with this. It's very well known in our culture, and I feel like again, Indian women are famous for their hair. And it's over the past few years we've seen so much of different components of Ayurveda really gain interest and traction in outside communities. And we were like, well, hair care is like quintessential. It's quintessential to when it comes to Ayurvedic beauty. And when we started thinking about it in 2018, there really wasn't an American-based company that was bringing it in, as Shaz said, in like a kind of a final form. It's still been very much contained within kitchens and gardens and traditional homes, and it hadn't really gone outside of that. So that was all those ideas and kind of observations and things that we grew up with and things that we were witnessing as adults living in America, being Indian. That kind of all those pieces of the puzzle really led to us starting to conceptualize Shaz and Kiks.
Wonderful.
It's really interesting. I gotta say this, it was very similar, like in Black culture when we were little girls. Our parents, my mothers and aunts, they call it greasing your scalp. I don't know if,
Yeah.
if you've ever been told this by Black women, like literally
Yeah.
Saturday night before church, you sit down and they have to grease your scalp, and then back when I like, and that's really what it was called. So for
Yeah.
me, it reminded me so much. My grandmother was a beauty person on my side of
Hmm.
the family as well. So that to me is very. When I think of the brand, I think of like women, family women, and like how much we learn from mothers and aunts and play cousins, and the whole like community of women for that. So that's what spoke to
Yes.
me. It's part of my everything shower after I come back from travels.
Yes. Lovely. Lovely. I know. And, it's like, there is like, we always say that, we've had these, growing up, we've had the fortune of spending time with our families in our ancestral home in India, where, there was joint families and there's multiple grandmothers and multiple aunties and cousins. And taking care of yourself, your beauty rituals were done collectively, with all the women coming together and doing it as a shared practice. And so that was something that, like, really it's like it's less and less that those moments really kind of exist in this modern world. But that's kind of where our love for beauty came. It was something that we jointly did as like the women in our family, and the kind of the specialty of collective care. And so that was a lot of our storytelling, and the impetus of the brand also comes from sharing that, as you mentioned, Julia.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, I know that your products you're sourcing from small communities, small farmers and such in India, but you're producing the products in the United States. So talk about the sustainability of that, the way that you source not only the ingredients that you're putting in, but also for the communities that are actually farming them.
Mhm.
Share with our audience a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, we felt like, so majority of our raw ingredients do come from Indian suppliers and farmers, and then yes, we formulate and manufacture here in the U.S. It was kind of a no-brainer for us to make sure that our raw ingredients come from like the origin of what the whole concept of our Ayurvedic hair care was. Some of the most kind of important things that we've also really like learned as we've gone through this process when it comes to really kind of doing as much as we can to we always say, have a gentle footprint on planet Earth, is to make sure that we are sourcing these raw ingredients, these Indian herbs, oils, and flowers, are from their native regions. And when you source,
Mm.
when you kind of grow and harvest plants from their native regions, you inevitably use less water, less pesticide, less fertilizer. So you are using kind of cleaner, higher quality raw ingredients. You are again, leaving like a quieter footprint in your agricultural practices. And the third component is really making sure that we do support these traditional communities, these farming communities that have grown these plants for generations. And we want to make sure that, we not just do whatever we can through, maybe fundraising or donation, but really include them as part of our supply chain. So, the end customer, when they're buying our products, that kind of is a ripple effect back into the to the very beginning of the supply chain where the raw ingredients grow, and the people that grow them and harvest them and help provide these raw ingredients to us. So, we definitely look through a lens of both people and planet, and we do our best that we can to make sure that we are using the ingredients from the native regions, and we also, even within the native Ayurvedic ingredients that grow in the Indian subcontinent, we do try to consciously select ones that are drought resistant, that are durable, that have multi-use. All these things also, again, low footprint on the planet, and but also really helps the livelihood of farming communities. So when there are temperature and weather and climate changes, and there's like not as much rainfall, that we're still using ingredients that they can grow and they can live off of. And so all those decisions really kind of go into what raw ingredients we select to go into our formulas.
I have a quick question. So, since the products were inspired by the women of your family, were they like the testers? Were they the first like sample people, like to say, I like this, I don't like this? Because we understand how hard sometimes family can be. I can only imagine it's like it wasn't like this. So how was it like when you all came together and decided we're going to make this hair care brand, bring it to the Western world? Like, what did the women in the family think when you started that?
Yeah, so our first tester is always our mother, of course, like hands down.
Yeah. The
And
the
she'll be
harder
very
tester, the hardest tester is the
like
sister.
the biggest critique ever, of course. But it's great. And like it's interesting because like these formulas, like because as I was mentioning earlier, we're also trying to bring a level of innovation to these products as well, and make them less like, just like raw. And so these products also don't necessarily even exist in India. So I think even for like our family, these are new in the sense of like either the vehicle in which they're being applied, or yeah, so for them also, even though the ingredients are all very familiar, the kind of the way it's packaged and the way that it's applied, those are still new to them. So it's always interesting for us to test these on women in our family, plus also just like our South Asian friends, because they do kind of like understand, but then the ingredients, but then they can also, their great feedback of like, well, does this feel good? Does this feel good putting it on? Because that's one of the key things that like is very important to us, is that, like hair care, it's not really fun. Skincare can be fun, all these other things can be fun. We
True.
really want to make you excited and want to go and like shampoo your hair and put in a treatment and kind of get that same feeling that you get when you do like a really amazing like facial or like a mask, or like a face mask. We want you to have that same kind of like feeling around it. So this is like also one of the big things that we always test with the women in our family, and even like and with our friends as we're formulating.
Yeah, and we formulate from scratch. It takes us close to a year from the very beginning of concept to like the end. When we finalize the formula, it takes us about close to a year. We do it. We do it not in the kind of the standard beauty manufacturing way that the industry is here in the U.S. Just because like there's not like off the shelf formulas that are relevant to us. So we formulate from scratch. We go through many iterations. We have a group of testers who definitely have a very critical eye, including our family members, and some key friends and family friends in our community. And it definitely has to pass through them, because they are, it's a little bit, as Shaz mentioned, like they know what these ingredients are. They've used like kind of like the more like raw blend of them, but then it's also new to them as well. And so it definitely needs to pass the test of like kind of the guards of like all things, Indian hair care beauty.
So does the product, like, is mom like the last like tester? Like, you get your friends, your core test group, and they're like, okay, we like this, maybe change this. Is is mom though, like, hey, we got to have a discussion, or she's like thumbs up, thumbs down,
Yeah.
like,
Mom is like the first tester and then the last
And the
tester.
last test,
Yeah.
like once we get like whatever kind of the base, like 20-30% of the formulation between like me, Shaz, and our chemist, like mom is the first one, and then she's there throughout the entire process.
Yeah,
okay. I have
that's
a
great.
question about the clay shampoo.
Mhm.
Right, I had never seen in my time of beauty a clay product that was for hair, for scalp, instead of the face.
Yeah.
Tell me about that product, because that was the one that a good friend of mine who actually works at Sephora sent it to me, and she was like, "You're gonna love this. You're
Oh,
actually gonna
yay.
love it." And then I said, she sent me a little sample, and then this is me. Here's the app. Okay, I got it one time. So tell me, what was the ideation for the clay product?
Yeah. That one was, yeah, that one I think, I mean, out of, we have a few babies. But that one, if we had to pick our favorite, I know like both me and Chaz, we have like our favorites that are like kind of very pertaining to our different hair types and textures. But that one I think is like our like joint favorite one. And it is actually really innovative. Again, it's not something, a product that you will really see in, a traditional Indian Ayurvedic formulation. So the base of it is a specific type of Indian clay. It's called Multani Mitti, which is Indian fuller's earth clay. It comes from the Indian subcontinent. It actually has a really rich history. It was like a very popular clay that started being used for external beauty purposes through the spice trade. Asian traders would kind of come through and they discovered it. It comes from a region in modern day Pakistan, which is Multan. That's the region's name. And it is incredibly, it's a really special type of clay. It's really mineral rich, so calcium, iron, magnesium, minerals that are really great for skin and hair follicles because they really strengthen the hair root and really help reduce hair shedding and really kind of do a deep kind of deposit of nutrients into hair follicles. And like most clays, it is kind of, it absorbs excess oil, dirt, and grime, but it's gentle enough where it doesn't overstrip. So this is like a very, very, very popular like clarifying ingredient within the Indian subcontinent. It is, like I said, it started like, the history of it that we kind of dug into is really interesting. It started really spreading during the spice trade time through Asia and through Europe. But it goes back to about several thousands of years ago. They've found, remnants of it of people using it as an original kind of soap on their bodies because it really is a really balanced, like natural ingredient that removes excess oil, dirt, and grime. It helps you unclog your pores, but it doesn't overstrip the natural oils. So it's one of those things that, like in its raw form, a very common like weekly mask that most all South Asian women have put on their face on a weekly basis. Again, it's a bit clarifying, and it really helps you kind of do that deep cleanse once a week. So, again, like multani mitti is a very popular ingredient within our communities. That's definitely not new. But we were like, this is such a great ingredient to put on your scalp, which needs even more oil balancing than even on your face because it's double the amount of pores and oil glands than your facial skin. And so because it's clay, it's always been really bit hard to use on your scalp, right? Like it's one thing making a mask on your face, but it's really hard to make a mask like that for your scalp. So that's kind of really where the innovation really kind of started coming into play. So we knew we really wanted to use this incredibly nutrient rich, mineral rich clay that has been used to cleanse the body for centuries, but how can we make an end product that is used for scalp and again, it's not messy. It's obviously not like kind of muddy clay, which is obviously not a good experience in your scalp and your follicles. And so, Shaz is an engineer by trade. We have a wonderful chemist that works with us, very much hand in hand. And so it was really their innovative minds that came together to figure out how we can use this clay, but have a formulation, mix it with this certain kind of ingredients that helps it lather. So there's a really great coconut derived gentle lather in there that helps kind of break it down. And so the minute you kind of scoop it in and it's water activated, it starts lathering, and so then it goes into your scalp a lot easier. So it's kind of a long-winded answer to like the key ingredient, and it always kind of starts with that. We know these ingredients again comes from our heritage, comes from our culture, ingredients that we grew up with, and then it's like how can we give them new beautiful life in these end formulas that are easy to use, and not everyone has their Indian grandmother making them in their kitchen, and so how can we bring that essence but have it in an end formula that's easy. But yeah, that's one of our favorite ones. It's also a waterless. It's a waterless formula. I mean, there's 0% water in the formula versus traditional liquid shampoo has about 70 to 80. So it's a shampoo concentrate. A little goes a long way. So it's wallet friendly and environmentally friendly. We save thousands of gallons of water during manufacturing by not using it in a shampoo formula. Where that is one of actually within the beauty industry that a shampoo is has the highest amount of water usage because it's almost all water. That's what you're kind of putting in your scalp and your hair.
Wow, that's so fascinating. I didn't even know about that. That's so cool. Thank you. Well, the stage that I am in my life right now is a perimenopausal stage. And so my hair has and continues to evolve through this process. And I have come to learn that hormones, whether it's menopausal or stress, people who are battling illness, all kinds of things. Hormones can impact the quality, the texture, the consistency, the volume of hair. How have, once you've started this company and gotten into everything, how have you learned about the hormone changes of hair? And then how do your products also help with this, people that are battling like myself, this hormonal issues?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, Michelle, because I feel like perimenopause in and of itself is like a topic that's not widely talked about, but it really should be. And I'm in the same boat as you. I am in perimenopause.
Oh, welcome.
But I actually,
yay, we're in the same boat.
Honestly, I didn't even know that I was, it was just like, why are all these weird things happening to me, or like these weird changes that I don't really understand. But so I'm so glad that you asked that question. Yeah, so I think like again, even with my own journey, I've had to learn a lot more about like obviously what's going on with my hormones, and then also very similar to you, like my hair has changed. And I think like obviously like when you're going through perimenopause, your estrogen levels are really fluctuating, which also again like maybe everyone's experience is a little bit different, but even like with my menstrual cycles, they're all over the place. Like sometimes it's super heavy, sometimes it's super light, it doesn't cover every month. It's just like crazy. And the same thing, because estrogen is related like hormonally to your hair growth and like your hair like level of hair shedding. It is a very important hormone in that world. And so what I have noticed for myself is that like my hair shedding level also fluctuates, and I can't really ever tell like what's causing it. But as I've like done a lot more research on that, it is really based also on your estrogen levels. And I probably like, if I like map my like menstrual cycle weirdness with my hair shedding, like there's probably a correlation as well. But okay, so I think like with what as I've been like doing a lot more research about kind of just perimenopause and like its effect on hair and like what you should be doing, at the end of the day, it's really about your scalp health. And like this is just in general, and even more so during these kinds of periods of like hormonal fluctuation, postnatal, perimenopause, kind of all those like various phases in your life. So I think what it's like really important is that you make sure that you're using products that are delivering like really, really like the right kind of nutrition and like really nutrient rich to your hair follicles. You're really working on, like in beauty and in skin, everyone's talking about the skin barrier. But what we always say is that your scalp is actually just the extension of your skin. So don't forget about it. And it's like, it is equally important, and it's even more of a delicate balance of an environment because of the oil productions. Like obviously your hair is coming out of there, your hair follicles. So it's really about making sure that you're using like topical products like our pre-wash to deliver like the right nutrients to make sure that you're fostering like a healthy scalp environment. And I think, obviously there's like all the stuff with like supplements and things like that, but like I think at the first step that you need to do is to make sure you're having a really, really healthy scalp.
And so talk about the pre-wash. Yeah, because I've not used it, but I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, sure. So like the pre-wash is actually the very first product that we launched. And it was really kind of a little bit more of our test product and like is anybody gonna understand this or like this? And if so, like then we will move on with this endeavor. So with the pre-wash really takes the concept of oiling, which is, like we learned about, Julia, you talked about even a little bit in Black culture. There is actually a huge, which we can even get into, but there's like a lot of science behind why oiling your dry hair is really beneficial. But we took that concept and like a little bit of history is like with my grandmother, she would always want to be putting oil in her hair. I actually hated it. I just hated it with a passion. And I like literally ran away from her all the time while she was like running after me. Kiku, on the other hand, was like grandma's little pet and like did everything she wanted to do. But for me, like the experience is really important. And that was what, even though like the benefits were so amazing, like the experience, I just didn't like that experience of oil in my hair. So the idea was really to see how we can take the concept of hair oiling, take all the kind of benefits, all the nutrients, the nutrient heavy and nutrient rich ingredients that are in in a hair oil that is also steeped in a lot of like different herbs and flowers. One of my grandmother's concoctions, and take that and make this into more of like an experience that you're going to enjoy. And so the pre-wash is a creamy mask. It has 35, like more than 35 nutrient rich, like Ayurvedic ingredients. And it also, like the thing that we love about it also is that it like dries dry. So it's not even though it's oil based, like it's not going to feel oily once you put it in, and you can like leave it on all day if you want. And it's not going to look oily. So that's in a nutshell, the pre-wash. It like in terms of what it's really doing, it's supporting hair growth, it's strengthening your follicles, and then also strengthening that scalp skin barrier. And the most important thing from the scalp's point of view is that you really want to keep your like scalp pH balanced at around like 6.5. Again, like a lot of hair products are very much on the higher side. So it's important to keep that like pH balance of your scalp for oil production and, kind of all that stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the pre-wash.
Yeah, and it kind of like it's like a nutrient mask. It's a kind of a protective barrier for your entire hair ecosystem. So for your scalp and your strands, it really helps you before you jump in the shower, letting it, massaging it in and then letting it soak in. You get all those vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that really help support hair growth and just general like, healthy functioning hair follicles, which is where your hair grows out of. But it also creates a bit of a protective barrier that helps prevent damage the minute you jump into the shower. So water, shampoo, kind of rigorous this, you kind of come out, you do heat styling, you go out into the sun, out into the, kind of different environmental stressors. And so all those things kind of just day to day, little kind of actions that lead up to everyday damage, which is kind of you don't have to even think of like, oh, my color dye or chemical treatments. Even if you don't do any of those things, there are just regular activities that we do on a day-to-day basis that all accumulate and add to damage to your scalp, to your hair. And so this we always call it like the step one for building the foundational hair health, because it really is able to soak in. So from the inside, you are kind of receiving all those nutrients. And so you're really building healthy hair from the beginning. It also then creates this protective barrier to prevent all those daily activities that lead to damage, including water in your shower, the shampoo, your styling products, and beyond.
Okay. So I have typically I put a vegan squalene oil on my hair before I go to bed and then wash it the next morning. So could I do that instead? Just put it on before I go to
Yes.
bed? Okay,
Yeah,
and let it
yeah. And we
sit
say,
all
yeah,
night? Is that okay?
absolutely. It's like one of our favorite things. So, we've made the mask so easy and versatile and like multi-use, as Shaz mentioned. Just the way that, again, that end formula is. And we recommend you keep it on at least 15 minutes before you jump in the shower, but you can leave it on. I leave it on for like an entire 24 hours, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually like really easy and convenient. One of the best things you can do, put it on before you go to sleep. It doesn't really rub off. It really sinks in and like clings onto your scalp and hair. It won't rub off on your pillowcase. My favorite way of doing it is I put it on in the morning, and I do like a little like slick back look. It like really kind of gives a nice snatch bun or braid or whatever kind of hairstyle you want to do. I go through my work day. I go do my workout. The heat and sweat really helps activate it. And then I'm an evening shower, so a shower taker. So then I jump in the shower, and at that point it's almost been like 12 hours since it's been soaking in, and then I'll wash out my hair. So it's really like, whether you've got like 15 minutes before you jump in the shower, you put it in, leave it on for a few minutes, and then take a shower, or you want to sleep in it, you want to like style your hair. One of my other favorite hacks is like we travel a lot, for fun and for pleasure, and for work, and like that nasty dry airplane air is always, I mean, on my face and my body and my hair, it's always like, it's gross. It's so high, it's so dry, and it's like just so filled with just bacteria. And so of course I do my skincare to make sure that like it stays hydrated. I do the same thing with my hair. So I'll put in that pre-wash, and I tie my hair into a nice cute little bun or braid before I get into the airplane. And it's like phenomenal. I just started doing this, like we've had this product for 3 months, and obviously we created it. And I just started doing this a few months ago, and it's been like a game changer because we've just been traveling so much. It's like now part of like my travel routine. I like, put on my comfy outfit, whatever I'm wearing, and I put on like a nice hydrated mask. And then I put on that pre-wash, and then my hair looks cute. It stays in place. It really makes sure that I'm not losing moisture and my hair's not getting dry. And then I get off the plane. My hair still looks cute. If I'm still going out, my hair still looks cute. Or I then go take a shower, and then I'm like ready for whatever I'm doing later that day. So, anyways, it's a really multi-use mask that can, it's nutrient rich. Or like when you have it on, it's always really delivering and soaking in all those nutrients. And also, like if you use it to style your hair, it looks really good.
Wow, Julia, I'm having like a whole like new thing because we talk a lot about skincare on planes and masks and all that, but I never think anything about. Oh my
No
gosh.
one has ever mentioned
No.
airplanes and hair.
Yes.
And hair.
Right, but
Yeah.
think about it. We're all like, for most
Yeah.
of us who are, savvy and under, and now I feel like everyone is all like really focused on their skin. But what is happening to your scalp in that dry, nasty airplane? It's getting dried
Wow.
out. And and it's also think about it, if you have your hair out, even just the friction on like the plastic back of the plane seat, right? Like all those things, it's all the small little things that add up to like dryness, breakage, loss, shedding. It's all this little activity. So you like just the way I feel like we've just become a lot more hyper knowledgeable about our skincare is just an extension of our base. So a little bit of love and care, and using the right products and the right rituals as well along with it is gonna make your hair just as amazing as the rest of your body.
That's okay. That's a game changer. I mean, that is literally a game changer.
For real.
Speaking of rituals, you guys have different hair textures and types, right?
Yeah.
So for people who are trying to brand, how do they find their ritual? Because I feel like every time you try a new brand, you got to kind of go with what that brand's ritual is. And I find that sometimes when I think about, like, we're talking about skin, I always tell people like a lot of the products are formulated to go together. And sometimes when you're jumping brands, it's not working because you're jumping brands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for you, what's your ritual, Kiku, and then Shaz? I love to know what's your hair ritual like. Do you do it every day? I mean, the oiling, like how does it work? Like, what happens with your everything shower? Because I'm big on. I didn't know
Yes.
that was a term until my niece told me a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I was like, I do that after every trip. What are
I've
y'all
been
calling
doing,
it?
yeah, yes, I've been
Everything
doing the
shower.
everything
The every
shower
yeah.
for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, so we're sisters, but we have very different hair type and texture. And I think that's like that really also goes into how we formulate because we're like the two founders have very different kind of constitutions and needs and challenges, and so we think of both those things as we're formulating a product. So when it comes to the pre-wash, we actually have two different formulas because that was one of the things that we used to always really struggle with. I have thick, curly to wavy hair. It tends to be drier. My scalp is a little bit drier, and so is my hair. And I'll let Shaz talk about her hair constitution, which is very different from mine. But one of the things that we used to always say is that hair masks or even a hair oil, like how can one product be applicable to like wide ranges of different hair types and textures, right? So it's like if it's too light, then it doesn't moisturize. It doesn't do what I need for my like kind of drier, thicker curls. If it's too heavy, Shaz is like my hair is like it's like flat and completely like volumeless. So that's what that was kind of one of the main priorities for us when we were creating the Scott and her pre-wash is that we have two different formulas. So I use the formula that's for thick, curly to coily hair, which is exactly what I have. I use that about once a week. I would say sometimes even twice, but I use it once a week. On like usually I will do it. I do like a Wednesday wash and then I do like a Sunday wash. A lot of times it's like whenever kind of like it plays into like my schedule. Sometimes I'll put the pre-wash in on my Wednesday wash, or sometimes I'll do it on a Sunday, just depending on like what was going on. I usually put the pre-wash in the morning, like I mentioned. I am an evening shower taker, so that works for my schedule. I put it on in the morning just as like I brush my teeth, do my skincare, and then I'll put on that pre-wash. And then I go about my day, whatever I'm doing. And then in the evening, I take a shower, and I love using our Balancing Clear Hair Cleanser. I use that once a week. Again, I have a drier scalp and drier strands, so I really use it once a week as a little bit more of like a deep cleansing, clarifying shampoo that really helps kind of break down build up excess oil, and it gives me a nice deep cleanse. And then I use our Nourishing Rod conditioner on my ends of my hair strands. And then most of the time I come out of the shower, and I'm an air dryer, and I feel like I used to not be. I used to always blow dry my hair straight because that's what I thought was beautiful hair until I started really embracing my natural waves and curls. And so now I air dry. I come out of the shower. I do a couple of things. I use a very specific like cotton towel that we've gotten from India. You don't have to get a towel from India, but make sure that you're not using like a terry cloth towel that really adds extra friction, breakage, and will lead to frizz and like your hair not drying properly. So for both of us, and I'll let Josh talk about hers, we use like a 100% cotton towel. You can use a microfiber towel. You can use like a little t-shirt, but that's the best way to dry your hair. And you also want to make sure that it's like still a little bit wet. It doesn't need to be like as dry as possible. Make sure that you like leave a little bit of like the water and moisture in, and let it just kind of like help be part of like your like water retention as you're drying your hair. As when I'm halfway done with my hair drying, I will put in our Marina Peptide Serum. It's a serum for the ends of your hair, especially if you have kind of dry, damaged, and or kind of like dehydrated, weak hair. So again, like I have a little bit drier hair, my waves always need a little bit more moisture. So I always make sure to put that serum in my wet hair, and then I air dry it. It kind of lets it kind of air dry in its like, it brings up the waves and textures in its best natural state. And then sometimes I use a diffuser to make sure that if I'm in a rush, I just want my waves to even that more pronounced. The serum is also like heat protectant as well, so I'll put in the serum, and if I air dry it, it comes out just kind of like natural big waves. If I diffuse it, then it comes out even more like even less. So yeah, that's what I do on my wash day. And then in between my wash days and my non-wash days, between that Sunday and that Wednesday, I use our rice and cherry refresh spray. It's a great like little like nice caffeine rich hydrating scalp spritz that is really great. Again, like think of your skin, you are washing it, you're putting on serums, you're using a moisturizer. I'm assuming for most people twice a day. When you're not doing your wash day for your hair, like you got to make sure that you still get hydration and moisture and some type of nutrition. So our rice and cherry spray is perfect for that. And I'll spritz that in on my non-wash days into my scalp in the morning, again, part of like my morning routine after I brush my teeth, do my skincare, spray that in. And that really just kind of helps hydrate. It breaks down whatever buildup is happening. It's a bit kind of a gentle exfoliation. And it's rich in caffeine, which again has a really great antioxidant polyphenols to just make sure the hair follicles are healthy and functioning. So that's my hair care routine.
Nice.
Mine's a lot easier, guys.
I love it. I love all the extra, Kiku. It's okay. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I am here for it.
It's a lot more basic. Okay, and as you guys can see, my hair is very fine, silky, straight. And I also have a very, very oily scalp. So you know how like for the past whatever 3, 4, 5 years, this whole thing about like you shouldn't be washing your hair every day, and like I've always washed and shampooed my hair every day. So that like gave me some anxiety and stress, like as like that was coming on more and more, and I'm like, oh my god, should I not be like washing my hair every day? So obviously then, you know, with COVID it was like easier to test that out. So there was like a few years that I did not wash my hair every day. But you know, I really come to realize like you got to do you, and you got to do like regardless of what is going on in the internets. You got to do like what feels right for you. So I also work out every morning, like pretty intensely, and I sweat quite a ton during that time. So it's like I also have to wash my hair. So for me, so I work out and then I jump in the shower. Some days, probably about 2 days out of the week, I will, before I start my workout, I actually put the pre-wash in for the other formula that Kiku was mentioning. That's intended more for people with a little bit more oilier scalp, fine hair. It has like the oils are a little bit lighter and the ingredients are a little bit more tailored to my kind of hair type. And then I will actually work out with the pre-wash in, because it also like it's heat actually really accentuates and the efficacy of it as well. So like, and a lot of times I'm working out outside in Texas, so it's like I'm getting plenty of heat going on while I'm working out as well. And then I jump in the shower and I use the clay cleanser every day, but that is like very specific to my hair type. I can do that, as Kiku was mentioning. It's very clarifying, but that's like how oily my scalp is, that I can actually use it every day. So I would only recommend that for people who obviously have like super duper oily scalps. So then when I come out, like, you know, some days out like Kiku, I will.
You don't use the conditioner. You should mention you don't use conditioner.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, that is actually one key thing, which in addition to using that clay cleanser every day, I've like stopped using conditioner for like the last 10 years. I don't use any conditioner. And actually, like if in like Ayurvedic rituals, if you look back to like the way it's kind of actually done in terms of hair care, that oiling, which is obviously like we're replacing that with the pre-wash, and then doing like a cleanser is enough. So in Ayurveda, the conditioning actually, and there's also science behind that,
Okay.
like it should happen like prior to washing, and it should happen on your dry hair. So for me, like conditioner, like it doesn't really do anything for me. So I don't use conditioner. I will air dry if I'm going out somewhere, but you know, to Kiku's point, I also like leave it a little bit, like even after I use the towel, I do think it's important to keep it a little bit wet. Like don't like squeeze every bit of moisture and like wetness out of your hair when you're drying it with your towel. I think like both Kiku and I, we just like kind of do a little bit of like, you know, just like a little bit of padding. And then I will air dry, but I always try to air dry, even if I'm gonna dry my hair, I like air dry it halfway, and my hair, it's like so fine, like literally like this, it'll dry. So as I'm just like getting ready, it'll be like half dry. And then once a week, because perimenopause and, you know, aging hair also like loses density, and just like becomes weaker. So The Moringa serum, which does have like a proprietary peptide in it, I use that just on my scalp. But again, I use very little bit, just once a week. It's not something I would use every day, but just to, especially because my hair is, I'm aging and my hair is aging. Just to keep it a little bit like keep it strong and having those peptides really like attached to where your hair is weaker. I feel like, kind of just like keeps my strands strong. So that's it for me.
That's great. Wow. So my stylist, Laura, I want to give Laura a shout out. She uses keratin in the color when she colors my hair. So then with the peptides, just for strengthening it and stuff, with the peptide, like you're talking, that would then help carry that through in between colorings.
Yes.
With that,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yes,
and all of our products are color safe. And especially, with color, obviously that does like weaken your hair and like does some a little bit of damage. So it is really important to use products like the Moringa serums to make sure that your strands are like really strengthened and kind of like
and the moringa does. I mean, so part of that peptide blend is there are actually keratin peptides in there that
okay.
that we've very actively have worked with our chemists to choose because they are able to replicate your hair. Your hair strands are made up mostly keratin, so these keratin peptides really are able to like biomimic the structure of your hair. And so that's why they're very effective when they do like deposit and kind of cling onto your hair. It really does help like strengthen that structure. So the moringa peptides are part of the peptide blend is keratin peptides.
Nice. Oh, I need to try all of your products. Yes. Red's hard to maintain. So yeah, I need all the things.
Absolutely. And I feel like even again, just really focusing on like the wellness of your scalp and your strands, where you are again protecting it from like the everyday damage. It all goes back to like it also helps retain your color, right? So like the more it helps retain moisture, hydration, all those things that that kind of when you don't take care of it, your color fades quicker. So again, like all those like wellness ingredients, also even something like if you dye your hair and color your hair, it keeps it longer because it's able to kind of really retain moisture and strength, which help you keep your color longer.
That's
So
great.
you're saying, like, ladies, people are, anyone's listening, just like you have a skincare routine, you need a hair
Yes.
care routine.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I know, and a little known less fact that is a very important fact is that your scalp ages 6 times faster than your face. It has more oil glands and it has more hair follicles. Therefore, the kind of the misbalance of oil happens a lot more readily on your scalp versus your face, and you lose a lot more water on top of your hair than the rest on top of your head than anywhere else on the skin of your body. So it's even a more complicated and delicate part of your like skin structure compared to your face, but people don't take care of it as much as their face because the face is only like the front facing. But you think of your hair and like you may be concentrating being like, oh my god, I want longer hair, I want stronger hair, but like this is really where you need to be focusing on.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, let's not forget actually your strands are dead, right? Like the
They're
only
dead.
living thing that's in your hair ecosystem is your scalp and your hair, follicles. So that's like continuously this is our mantra is that your scalp is an extension of your skin. So you need to be taking care of it. Just because you can't see what's going on and you're focused more on like how it looks or how the strands feel, but that all of that is a reflection of your scalp.
Wow.
I
Well,
love
this
it.
has been quite an education for me.
So, no, it's for me as well. The whole I think it's an education for people who are listening because they'll get the correlation that with the routine and it's an extension of the skin. I think people will get that philosophy instead of like saying, oh, just like do a hair routine. No, the extension people I think will understand. So now that you guys are owners of a beauty brand, what are one beauty brand that you each like, that's like kind of like you're on your heel. It's like your holy grail product. It could be a lipstick. It could be anything. What is like one product that you actually repurchase?
Okay, so for me, I actually did just switch to the Skin Fix like peptide barrier cream moisturizer for the last, I've been using it for the last year, and I kind of like didn't like the smell of it, but it is amazing. Like I feel like it's done incredible amounts of hydration for my face. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
one. And then very recently, one of the things of like women of color is like if you were applying lipstick back in the 90s, there was nothing
Brown lip liner.
really.
You mean you mean like brown lip liner when we were back there? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was like, and when
Yes.
Mac arrived on the scene, it was like, I mean, it was like a present from
Game
God,
changer.
you know?
Yes.
So actually recently I have been really using this is a very new brand called Teak Beauty. It's also South Asian women owned, and they are making lipsticks that are like specifically formulated with the idea of like the skin tones, like the undertones of South Asian women. Um, and I've never been able to wear like a peachy lipstick, like that would never even be a thing for me. But they have one, and I think because of like the fact that they really think about like the undertones of like that, like South Asian skin and like darker skin, it really works. So I'm like excited for the first time in my life that I actually am wearing like some, like I have found like a little like peachy kind of lipstick shade from Teak
Oh, I
Beauty.
love it. Tea
Yeah,
beauty.
Nice.
take beauty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorites are, I think, like a family favorite of ours is Tatcha.
Yeah.
We really love that as a overall beauty brand. The way they formulate. I feel like with our family, everyone has their favorites. Mine is the water cream. I always have that with me. In mini form, half size form, full size form. So that's always one of my, regardless of other moisturizers that I'm using, that's always in my beauty drawer. And then the other one I will have to say, Thrive Cosmetics, their mascara. They're like the best selling mascara, which it's a tubing mascara. We Chad introduced me to. I love that one. I feel like I love the brush. I love the clean formulation, and I love how it like because of the tubing technology, it just so easily kind of washes off. So that's always I love like Shaz loves she's a loyalist, but I like love trying different things. But those two, like the Tatcha water cream and then the Thrive mascara, are ones that I always have. So I'll have to say those are my two favorite.
I and here's another thing. I'm a fan of Cooper Khan, the actress.
Oh
You know,
yes,
oh,
Karina
I'm just
Kapoor.
Karina
yes,
Kapoor. Yeah, yeah.
oh,
I'm a big
just
fan too.
gorgeous. And I found out when years ago I get my eyebrows threaded. I've gotten
Mm-hmm.
my eyebrows threaded since my 20s, and so I started following all these like Indian actors and actresses because
Mm-hmm.
the woman who was telling me, "Oh, you should watch these Bollywood." Like she is actually like stunning. Like for me, she's like one of those women I look and I'm just like, this woman is absolutely stunning. Like just staring, it's like staring at the sun, right? You just like see her, it's just like, oh my gosh, right? And so I'm always like thinking about like makeup and different looks and everything like that. Like when I think of like her, and it just brings me like from her, and I want to see her like on more shows that I can find in America. So if you guys got any like recommendations for like any movies, like because I see some Bollywood movies and stuff like that on Netflix now, and Prime has a few,
Yeah,
and I see that now because of like watching those movies, and also Mindy Kaling, I'm finding
yeah.
more Indian authors like also to read.
Yes,
I'm a big fiction
yeah,
writer. I mean reader, and so I still rewatch Never Have I Ever.
yeah. I love that.
Like
Yes.
I'm a little teenage girl, like because I just think it was just it's so well done. But I
So
would
cute.
love if you could like give us a few recommendations of like any Indian movies like you like, and a few like Indian books.
Um, I have one actually. I
Okay.
think it's on Amazon, right, Kiku? The Made in Heaven. Is it Amazon or Netflix? I can't.
Made in Heaven. Okay.
Yeah, Made in Heaven. So it's a series. It's set in
Okay.
India about like these two wedding planners, and then there's like little vignettes about like the weddings that they plan, and there's a lot of like social commentary. But the main actress in there, whose name I really cannot remember now,
Okay.
however, she is also insanely gorgeous.
It's
So
very
you'll
Okay.
love
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
so yeah,
seen this. Yeah. Yeah.
Made in Heaven.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a great. It's not like your quintessential like old school Bollywood movie
Okay.
where people are like dancing around. It's not that. It is like it's a really like well made drama
Ooh,
series,
okay.
and it's really well made. There's beautiful Indian women in it, and also just like great writing and acting.
Okay. Perfect.
It's a good high quality show. But there's also like a really fun one. So this is kind of a little spin on like kind of like Sex and the City ish. Like there's like four single gals out in Bombay in Mumbai. It's called Four More Shots.
Four more shots.
Also I think on Amazon as well.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And that one's just like it's
It's just
fun.
fun.
It's a hoot and a half. It's like four gal pals that are just like like living and working and going through life in modern day India, and it's like that's a really fun one too. So that one's like a little bit more fun, more kind of girlfriend time, and the Made in Heaven one is great, like
Okay.
drama.
Awesome.
Well, that'll be my weekend
Thank-
watching. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Should we watch it?
Oh, and Juliet, just really quickly, there is like one of the huge, like Bollywood blockbuster hits from like last year. It's called Rocky or Rani, like
Yes.
Rocky
Or
and
Rani.
Rani, essentially.
Okay.
Also, I think it's available on Netflix. Anyway, but
Yeah.
it's also like incredibly entertaining and
Okay.
just like
Awesome.
in it.
I'm
That
always-
one is like that one's like a big blockbuster, like Bollywood movie. If you're like in the mood to get
That'll have all
fully
that'll have all the
entertained.
fun songs and dances.
Oh yeah. I try to
That
like
was
tell myself to relax, where I'm not like on my phone or on my computer. I'm just actually watching TV like
Yeah.
as an enjoyment activity, because there's a lot of great TV out now. So I'm always, that's why I wanted recommendations.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
We have
thank
a lot.
you.
Both Shaz and I are also like avid readers, and we love to read South Asian writers. We could talk about this all day long. So
Okay,
we
well, you know what? We can go on email, and I will just
Yes, we
take the
can
list
send
from
over-
email.
We can send over.
Yeah, if you
Thank
want to
you.
give us some, recommendations, we can for books. We can put those in the show notes.
Yeah, we
as
can put it in the
well.
show notes as well.
Yes,
Perfect.
I'm writing down the other stuff that you said. So, well, we want to be respectful of your time. But one last question for the both of you before you go. So, we are always trying to just get better. So, how are each of you this week, this day, this moment just getting better?
My parents are visiting. They live in Houston. I'm in Dallas. They're visiting me for next 2 weeks, and they can sometimes drive me a little crazy, especially during like the work days. I'm like trying to do like my work. My mom is like, "What pan should I cook the eggs in?" It's like, oh my gosh. So I am. I absolutely love them being here. But the way I'm getting better this week and next week while they're visiting is like just being a little bit more patient, and like especially with my mom. I get like so irritated with her over this. This is the smallest things, and so I'm really trying to just be a little bit more patient and kind. Like I'm more patient with everybody else other than moms. They always get the brunt of it. So I'm just trying to like just not get irritated with her when she's asking me what pan she should make eggs in, where it's pretty obvious. But anyway, so that's how I'm getting better this week.
Love it.
Shaz?
Okay, so for me, it's not just like today. So my youngest daughter just went to college, and so now we are empty nesters, and so I'm getting better. Also, just kind of like I'm having to like reconnect with my husband. It's just the two of us in this house, so just trying to figure out how we live our lives like without my two daughters in the picture. So again, like similar, just like more patience, like connecting a little bit more, because like all these years it's been more about them than about the two of us. So that would be for me.
Wonderful. Wow.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
Yes, thank you both so much.
It's
a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
This was so fun.
And also, thank you for creating like great product like that anybody can love. And like, my friend who actually works at Sephora is a Black woman, and she has like a big afro, and she knows I still love products, and that's why she recommended it. So just thank you guys so much for the great product.
It was a pleasure for us to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
So the wine that I selected for today, I wanted to try to kind of keep it local. So we didn't get a chance to talk to them about wine, but Kiku is a major wine lover.
Okay.
And so since they're both in Texas, I picked a Texas wine.
Okay.
That is from
Ray Wilson.
Ray Wilson. Yes, yes. Our favorite Ray Wilson, Wine for the People. And this is from her La Valentia. La Valentia?
Yeah, that line is La Valentia.
Beautiful wines.
Those wines are, that label is beautiful.
Beautiful. This one is 100% Carignan and 2020. And I love on the back, so she's got quotes on the backs of all of these labels from amazing women. And this one is from Bessie Coleman. Do you know who Bessie Coleman is?
Oh, yeah. Of course I know who Bessie Coleman is.
Bessie Coleman. Yeah. So the quote is, "Tell them as soon as I can walk, I'm going to fly."
Oh, yes.
The great Bessie Coleman.
Well, we're matching. Actually, can you see it? It's a bottle of Scribe,
yes.
Pinot Noir Nouveau. This is one of those, small boutique out of Sonoma, California. I just really like their wines. They're fresh. I'm matching their personalities. Like fresh and lively and vibrant with that wine. And that wine is a Pinot Noir. And I just think like, they make crushable wines. They make easy sipping. It's kind of like Ray, like you take a sip and you want another sip. You take, and that's the kind of like beauty and fun, because that's how Ray makes wine, because that's how Ray is as well. So it's like these two, wines that actually just are fun to actually drink.
These are truly in the spirit of Ray, wines for the people.
Yes,
both of them. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
So
So how are you? Just getting better?
I am just getting better, because now I'm going to start my new little hair scalp routine after this. I'm getting better with that. That is how I'm getting better with this new hair routine. And, it's one of those things I know some women are like, oh, it's time. I actually like that, because for me, I look at it as part of my night routine. Like I feel like when I do the skincare and stuff like that, that is shutting down my day. Like I feel like my day is not shut down if I'm trying to I'm just rushing to do it, instead of just really taking the time to really enjoy it, and then I can process things. So when I'm going to actual sleep, I'm not processing them then and not sleeping. So to me, I take that time. So I'm getting better about adding me a little hair care routine. So if I decide to have a mohawk, it'll be fine.
Well, that I want to see.
I know. Part of me, I saw a woman with a mohawk, and I've been thinking about it for like almost 2 years now.
Wow. Like full on? Like the full,
It was
Liberty Stripes kind of going there?
Well, no, she stopped it. And so what she did was all this was gray. So all her hair was like beautiful white. And then she blonde like the center. It was so gorgeous. And I was just like, that woman's bad. And I thought about it, and I still haven't gotten it out of my head to kind of do something fun like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. How old was she? Like roughly, like where would you put her?
60s.
Okay.
She was 60s, 70s. It was like, I'm gonna keep all this gray, but I'm just gonna blonde this little fun part right here, and that what made me. She had a spunk, right? She had that with zhuzhs going, so I liked it.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I was asking because my stylist recently told me a story about someone that does like a streak in her hair, different colors, and she said that she's in her 70s, and I think she runs marathons or something, I don't remember, and she does it to be seen, because once women get to a certain age, they're not seen anymore, and she wants to be seen, not to be like the center of attention, but just to be noticed in the world. So that's
why
I
think now it's so much fun, and and as we just get better in aging. I think we look at it a lot differently, and like that concept, I do understand. And it can wash out.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
it can wash out. So I love that for her.
It's all fun. Well, I'm with you. I'm getting on a plane soon, and I am just getting better. I got to get me some Shaz and Kiks and do my hair, put that the pre-wash on and put my mask on my face and do the whole thing.
Oh, do the whole thing. The mask.
Set.
Look,
I'm going to land and I'm going to be hydrated city. Hydration city.
I love it. Cheers, my friend. Just getting better.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers to our listeners too. Thank you all. Thanks for listening to Just Getting Better with your hosts, Michelle Williams
and Julia Coney.
We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into some important topics impacting women today. To ensure you never miss an episode, click follow or subscribe.
Head over to isjustgettingbetter.com to sign up for our email list, as well as check out all the links and resources in the show notes. And be sure to follow us on social media. If you love the show, will you please help us build our community by sharing it with friends? Until next time,
keep just getting better.